hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Happy Friday, everyone. Jo here with SportsGrid. It's time for Bucket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV, on X, and on YouTube. I hope everyone's day is starting off fantastic. Now we have 6 games out there on the ice. Did have some great games yesterday. Hopefully you guys made some money. If you did, let me know what you bet and where you were able to cash. The New Jersey Devils were a live dog versus the Edmonton Oilers. And if you joined Scott Wetzel and myself live on In-Game Live last night, you were able to grab the Devils like I did again at plus 350 for that comeback win. And that's exactly what they were able to do. So let's make some freaking money today, you guys. Let's get there with the first game here, the Detroit Red Wings and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the Canes are almost a $3 favorite. They're coming in at minus 275 on the money line, plus 220 here. For the Detroit Red Wings, that puck line is where you'd have to bet if you're looking at the Canes, laying 1.5 at minus 106. The Red Wings plus 1.5 at minus 114. Right away going into this, I don't think Carolina deserves to be that big of a favorite. They're still dealing with some injuries out there. And I think the Detroit Red Wings have every ability to pull off this upset. I would look at the Red Wings plus 1.5 at minus 114. Now we do have a total of 5.5 minus 142 to the over in this. Looking at the Red Wings, they are coming in expected to start Peter Mrazek. And we're looking at them coming off that win versus the Buffalo Sabres 7-3 on Wednesday. They are 3-6-1 in their last 10. So I understand why you wouldn't want to get on the Red Wings, but I look at this team sitting 6th in the Pacific. And I do think they have the opportunity of at least covering that puck line plus the 1.5. I think it's a nice bet to live bet this one as well if the Canes do go up first. Now they're plus 220 for the Red Wings on the money line. And you guys know I love that plus money. It had me at plus 220. I sprinkled on the money line and I took them plus the 1.5 at minus 114. I do think if I came back in on this, if the Canes went up in this game, I'd be coming back in on probably the plus 1.5 at that point, because I do think it's going to be a tight battle out there. We're also looking at the Carolina Hurricanes coming off 2 pretty big games. Now, they won that last game, and they've won the last 5, you guys. They won the last game versus Tampa 4-1. Outstanding performance. They have won 7 of their last 10 as well. And then the game before the one versus Tampa, they got the win over the Jets. So they've had some battles out there on the ice. I do see this as kind of a letdown spot. First night of a back-to-back with the Flyers on deck tomorrow. No, they're not looking ahead to the Flyers, but I think it's just one of those spots that isn't great for them. And tomorrow we'll kick off a 4-game road trip. So I'm looking for Carolina to look past Detroit. Let's see where we can make some money with players here for Detroit. I do think DeBrincat and Patrick Kane parlayed together for the point tonight makes sense for the Red Wings. They play on that second line together on the top power play unit. They're coming in parlayed for a point at plus 137. Now, both of those guys are sitting right around the minus 130 mark for their point tonight if you just like one over the other, but I'm going to parlay them together out there. Lucas Raymond has been firing out there as well. 22 goals and 46 assists for Lucas Raymond. So I do think he should be able to come out nice and strong on that power play. Again, looking at the Detroit Red Wings on the power play has been a strong suit, but we know what the Carolina Hurricanes can lock down on that defensive side. So this is going to be an interesting one. Sebastian Aho is averaging over a point per game, 6 goals and 4 assists in his last 10. So Sebastian Aho really stepping up for Carolina, but I do think this is Detroit all day. Yeah, let's cash those tickets. That is for sure. The Wild's team total under 2.5. Both teams to score first period. Bruins and Senators. Yeah, nice one there. They made us sweat that one a little bit. The Devils on the money line. Vegas over 6.5. That plus money. Caps and Kings under 5.5. Yeah, I still can't believe that one didn't stay under that total. You need to come back on that team tonight. Okay, Mo, I know where you're going with that one. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Edmonton Oilers take on the New York Islanders. Man, I just got so confused when I said that. I thought for a second he said the Edmonton Islanders, and I was like, did I say the Edmonton Islanders? Edmonton taking on New York. Wow, we've got second night of a back-to-back, and obviously I need more coffee today. The Oilers rolling in here at minus 125 on the money line. The New York Islanders at plus 106. Total of 6.5. Is Edmonton getting my money tonight? Well, in some capacity, but this team fading them last night was absolutely brilliant. The second night of a back-to-back. They're at the Rangers on Sunday, so definitely a harder opponent. They've fallen down to third in the Pacific. Edmonton's going to be pissed. And one player that's playing with so much fire out there is Leon Draisaitl. Look at Leon Draisaitl to get on the board again today. He has 7 goals and 8 assists in the last 10 games. So Leon Draisaitl should be able to do something here. You look at New York's penalty kill, and it's just one of the worst in the league. So the Islanders are going to struggle on special teams here. Leon Draisaitl should be able to light the lamp. And I do think, although we haven't seen that offensive production from the Oilers, this is a game where we see them open up. I'll take them over 3.5 goals at plus 112. Sorokin in the last meeting versus the Oilers, he allowed 4 goals, but it was on 42 shots. But with Edmonton coming off that loss to the Devils last night in a game that they were so frantic to push it to overtime, like I actually thought on In-Game Live, it might have been a nice spot to take Edmonton at plus 470 to push that game to OT, well, to tie it up. Because I had the plus 350. We know we had the Devils going into it. So I was kind of looking. I couldn't get my bet in fast enough to try to get that plus 470. And I was glad the books did that to me because, of course, we didn't see the overtime. We didn't see Edmonton win it. I was kind of just like looking for a hedge spot there. But Edmonton, the fire they were coming with in those last seconds trying to tie that up was crazy. So I do think they come out with that fire on the Islanders to start this game. I think those shots are coming. The goals should convert if they're able to get those shots up. So give me over 3.5 goals for the Edmonton Oilers at plus 112. They won the last meeting going over the 3.5, 4-3 back in November. Now they haven't covered the puck line as a favorite in their last 11 games. So really cautious here if you're looking at a puck line for the Edmonton Oilers. Is just not what this team is doing. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Gross, right? We're seeing the Islanders, they've lost the last 2. Tuesday's lost to the LA Kings 4-1. They're 4-6 in the last 10, so do have a step up here. They're versus the Panthers on Sunday. I do think this is a game where you could look at Edmonton first period puck line. I expect them to come out nice and hot in that first period, but then we're getting the Isles at plus 1.5 at plus money. I would jump in on the Isles with that plus money, live betting it, because I do think it's a one goal game at the end of the day. 4-3 game here for Edmonton. So Leon Draisaitl, give me him for a goal. Evan Bouchard was able to get us that killer goal last night, getting us the point. You could look at Evan Bouchard again for his point tonight. Palmieri has been strong for the Isles. He scored a goal in 3 of the last 4 home games for the Isles. And then we look here at Anders Lee. He has 26 goals and 20 assists for the Islanders. So I do think Anders Lee comes out nice and strong as well. Total 46 points. Can he get 4 tonight to push him to 50? No, I don't think so, but he could probably get 1 or 2. Let's move on to the Dallas Stars versus the Winnipeg Jets. This is going to be an elite game today. The Dallas Stars coming in as the underdog in this one at plus 114. So slight dog, minus 137 for the Winnipeg Jets, total of 5.5. Minus 118 to the over, minus 104 to the under. And I'm nervous about that over. I do expect Connor Hellebuck to stand on his head, but Jake Ottinger will look to do the same. We know the Winnipeg Jets are leading in the power play save percentage, and their goaltending is just phenomenal with Hellebuck here. Hellebuck has 8 more wins than any other goalie in the NHL right now, and he's allowed just under 2 goals per game. So he is standing on his head. If this goes over, it's because Winnipeg explodes. Now, I bet on Kyle Connor for the most shots on goal in that last game, and he came out completely flat, you guys. So I'm going to stay off Kyle Connor today because I did. I put the jinx on him. Connor Hellebuck has started the 2 matchups versus the Dallas Stars, and Dallas did win that last one 3-1. So in those 2 matchups, he's allowed 3 goals. So there's been an empty netter in that last one out there. I'm looking for Connor Hellebuck to stand on his head. Give me the Dallas Stars team total under 2.5 goals, 2 at the most. If they win this 2-1, we still cash it. If we win this where The Winnipeg Jets put up 4 goals and the Stars put up 2. We still win it as well. So the Stars team total under 2.5 goals at plus 104. I really do think they're going to struggle out there because you look, Rupe Hintz not in the lineup. Rupe Hintz was a major contributor to the to the Stars wins in those last couple of games versus the Jets. Without Rupe Hintz, we're going to have to see other players step up. Now, do they have the players? Absolutely. We know this team got Mikko Rantanen in the trade from originally Colorado, then Carolina. But Mikko Rantanen now part of this team, and he's been impactful right out of the gate. He scored in both games that he's come out for the Dallas Stars, and I do think he tries to be impactful in this one. Connor Hellebuck, though, is the difference maker. So I'm looking for the Stars to stay under 2.5 goals. Adam Lowry has scored a goal in 3 of the Jets' last 4 games, so he would be your player I would look at. But Kyle Connor, off of that game in the last one where they lost, they won to the Rangers 4-1 or 2-1, but they were unable to get a ton of goals and a ton of shots. I would look at Kyle Connor to bounce back, 81 points on the season, but I'm not going to touch him. I don't want to put the jinx, so you guys can bet on him. Let's move on to Colorado versus Calgary. My Calgary Flames off a disappointing loss, the Battle of the Pacific, to the Vancouver Canucks. Now they're still holding on to that wild card spot, but just barely in the West. They're plus 180 here on the money line, minus 220 versus a Colorado team that's won the last 6 meetings. And we've got a total of 5.5, minus 122 to the over 5.5, which is kind of shocking, right? Looking at the over 5.5, you got Mackenzie Blackwood versus Dustin Wolf. You need both of these goaltenders to stand on their heads, but the problem with Calgary is they've allowed the 6th most high danger shots over the last 10 games in the league. Colorado, we know, has those playmakers that can hit Dustin Wolf and make Dustin Wolf not look like the hot goaltender we know he is. My concern here with Colorado is the situation for the scheduling spot. They play tonight, and it's the first night of, not a first night back-to-back. They play on Sunday. Sunday, they take on the Dallas Stars, who are 2nd in the Central. They're sitting here 3rd in the Central. Are they going to look past a Calgary team that they have beat their last 6 games? Maybe. I think Calgary would be a nice live bet, plus 1.5 on that puck line. It's actually, it's too juicy right now, plus 1.5 at minus 144. Calgary on the money line at plus 180. If you believe this team can pull off the scheduling spot upset here, especially with them fighting for that wild card spot, they are off the loss, and they have a road trip on deck starting on Monday. 4 games out on the road, which we know is their weaker spot. This game means everything here for their playoff hopes. So look for Calgary to come out really strong. Again, I'll be live betting Calgary plus 1.5 or plus 2.5 if we can get there on the books for better line value. I'm not going to lay minus 144 on a plus 1.5. I do think this is a 1-goal game, and I do think it's that tight. Now, Nazem Kadri has been elite at scoring as of late, and is at home. I'm going to take Kadri for the anytime goal at plus 200 for the Calgary Flames. Valeri Nichushkin has that ability to score on Calgary. We have seen it. He's got 13 points over the last 9 games versus the Calgary Flames. So looking at Nichushkin for the point, it's juicy at minus 130. You might want to parlay it somewhere. He has 23 points through 28 games, and he's on the top power play. So Nichushkin, I think, will come out strong. Nathan McKinnon should come out nice and strong. And you got Cale Makar, and he's got 24 goals and 51 assists. So Cale Makar really pushing it out there on the ice as well. You got playmakers on both sides. I expect this to be that lower scoring battle between Blackwood and Dustin Wolf. Calgary has to be so careful. Calgary's only chance of keeping this tight is if it's in that lower scoring game. The total was a 6.5. It's moved to 5.5. The under 5.5 is dangerous in this one. It's coming in at plus 100. Again, you guys, I think this is a live betting situation. Going into this, if you had to take anything, I would sprinkle on the money line here for Calgary, with Dallas coming up for Colorado on Sunday. I don't love this game. I really don't. I think Kadri gets to go. Makar is a Calgary boy too. Yeah, Cale Makar coming back home. You got to love it. The stands will be full of Colorado fans rooting for Cale Makar tonight. So if you want to look at Cale Makar for goal number 25, I do like him for goal number 25 tonight. Let's just look at his goal prop here. 24 goals on the season. Goal number 25 for Cale Makar coming in at plus 310. So let's get that bet in for Cale Makar with his family going to be in attendance. Brock Nelson gets to come here too. It's going to be a really good game. So Cale Makar goal at plus 310. I love that actually, you guys. So Cale Makar, Kadri for the goal. And then that's basically all I really want to do going into this game. Colorado, by a field goal tonight for you for Colorado. Yeah, if you do think so, then do that outline laying 2.5. You'll make great plus money. Let's quickly look at the last two games here. I don't love the late games tonight on deck. These late games, let me just pull up the odds here on FanDuel. The Utah Hockey Club taking on the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken a home dog at plus 122, total of 5.5 in this one. The Nashville Predators taking on the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks a home dog, coming in at plus 136. If I had to lean on either home dog, it would be the Anaheim Ducks. The Nashville Predators have actually been able to pull some wins together, and I don't trust in them to continue to be able to do the same. I'm going to look at the same bet in both of these games. I want to get in and I want to get out. Now, the Seattle Kraken are coming off that fantastic, and I'm talking like incredible record-setting win versus Montreal in overtime. So that was a game where we saw the fastest goal ever scored in OT by Brandon Montour. It was the puck dropped, he rushed the net and got the goal. It was absolutely magical out there. Now, Brandon Montour has been elite at home scoring in the last three. So Brandon Montour, 36 points, 15 goals, and 21 assists. If you want to look at him to be impactful versus Utah tonight, I expect that momentum to carry forward into this game off of what he did in that last game. Utah, I do think, will answer back with Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller for point number 75 tonight, 74 points, 51 assists. And 23 goals. He's had an assist in the last 4 games, and a goal came March 7th versus Chicago. So he's been able to get 5 points in the last 4 games. Dylan Guenther, 2+ points. He's got 48 points on the season, 24 goals, 24 assists. He had a goal and assist in the last game out there versus the Anaheim Ducks. So Dylan Guenther and Clayton Keller, look for them to bring it here. For Utah, look for Brandon Montour. For the Seattle Kraken and Jared McCann, I'm going to take first period over 1.5 goals, minus 128. Both teams to score in the first period at plus 162. I'm expecting the goals, and same with the Nashville Predators and the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks have lost their last 2, but we know that one versus the Capitals, they got those goals nice and early. I look at Troy Terry here. They won the last matchup versus the Preds 5-2. They're at the Blues on a Sunday, and like I said, the Predators pulling these wins together, won their last 4, beat the Sharks 3-2 in their last game out. First night of back-to-back. They're at the LA Kings tomorrow, but they're not looking ahead. That's to end that road trip. It's been a long road trip here for them. Again, give me first period over 1.5, minus 138, and both teams to score plus 152. That's all I want to do with these games. I just want to get in and out of these games. So yeah, you could see the overtime there because Seattle has been pushing. They got that last game to overtime, and we know Utah sitting 5th in the Central. They've got the playmakers. So you look at these two, both these late games could go to overtime as you just see these teams trying to like play it out, be able to get some more points on the board. So I like it. You guys, it's time for the recap. We're going to fly through this recap today. I've got a lot on my plate today. I will be on Game Time Decision. No, not Game Time Decisions. In-game live. See, you guys, I need more coffee. I'm on In-game live tonight, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern with Scott Wetzel. Remember, we're live as well on Saturdays, 4 to 8. So make sure you come over and join us. Our Cup of Joes have been so hot. I hope you guys have been cashing with me. If you haven't been cashing with the Cup of Joe, I don't know what you are waiting for. Today's Cup of Joe will be out later. It's going to be in the late games out there on the hardwood. So make sure you do tune in over the next, probably in 4 hours here for that Cup of Joe. We're going to have a late Cup of Joe. And yeah, you guys, if you hit that like, hit that retweet, hit that share and subscribe. Kev, I appreciate you so much for being here and everyone for being here. Yeah, I'll look at 2 to 4 players tonight as well, Mo. So let's do that recap. It is recap time, 19-minute mark. 6 games on the ice. The Detroit Red Wings taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. I do think the Red Wings have every ability to keep it tight. Red Wings puck line +1.5 at -114. Sprinkle on that money line at +220. Live betting situation at the Carolina Hurricanes come back in. I would reinvest on the Red Wings on the money line. I think they can get it done here tonight. First night of a back-to-back for the Carolina Hurricanes. Even though they won't look ahead to the Flyers, it kicks off a road trip. Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane parlayed together for a point, coming in at +137 for the Red Wings. I love in this matchup. The Edmonton Oilers versus the New York Islanders. The Edmonton Oilers on the second night of back-to-back off a loss to the Devils. So glad we faded them last night. I do think they open up those goals. We know the Islanders can't stop a power play, and the power play should be able to convert here of Edmonton, who's going to be frustrated off of that loss. Give me the Oilers team total over 3.5 goals at +112. Give me Leon Draisaitl for the anytime goal and Evan Bouchard for the point. I do think on the Islanders side, Palmieri and Anders Lee, you should look at. The Dallas Stars versus the Winnipeg Jets. Give me Dallas's team total under 2.5 goals at +104. Look for Connor Hellebuck to stand on his freaking head. No Rupe Hintz in the lineup here for the Dallas Stars tonight, and we know they've got the playmakers, but this is all about Connor Hellebuck. Kyle Connor and Adam Lowry would be your playmakers for the Jets. I would look at on the power play tonight. The Colorado Avalanche and the Calgary Flames. This is going to be a tight battle. You guys throw out Cale Makar, and yes, Cale Makar coming back home to play tonight. Let's take him for the goal at +310. Kadri on the other side for Calgary at +200. Valerie Natushkin for the point is juicy at -130, but I do think worth looking at as a parlay piece. He's been able to get 13 points in the last 9 games versus the Calgary Flames. Jonathan Huberdeau has been rolling hot as well. To note, 24 goals, 24 assists. 25 goals tonight, he absolutely has the ability to do so. This game has to stay under if Calgary wants to win. I do think Calgary +1.5 at -144 is the way to go, with the Avs having the Stars on deck on Sunday. The Nashville Predators and the Anaheim Ducks. Look for this first period to go over 1.5 goals at -138. Both teams to score in the first period at +152. Possibility of overtime. And the Utah Hockey Club and the Seattle Kraken. First period again, over 1.5 at -128. Both teams to score in the first period at +162. Give me Clayton Keller for point number 75 tonight. Dylan Gunther for 2+ points as well. And then Brandon Montour to bring that momentum from that epic overtime win in here for Seattle. Give me Brandon Montour for the anytime goal. Top players that I would circle, it's definitely looking at the Red Wings game. Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane parlayed together. I love for my players. That's coming in at +137. You can take them separately. Their juice is right around that -130. Leon Draisaitl for his points for Edmonton tonight. I do think he can get 2. I prefer his goal over anything, but I do think Leon Draisaitl can get 2 points tonight. When we look at the Calgary and Avs game, I do think you look at Valerie Natushkin with his ability to get those points on Calgary, Cale Makar, and Kadri for Calgary. That is where I'm going. You guys, all the best in all of your bets today. I hope you have a fantastic one. Let's freaking stay hot. Let's make some money out there. Remember, I am live for Puck It with Joe, Rob, and everyone else on the weekends. Every noon, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. So make sure you join me. You guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me here on Puck It with Joe on SportsGrid TV.